Hi everyone, welcome to today's Satchel class. Today we're going to be having a look at Zentangles. My name is Jude Williams and I'm going to be leading the class today. I'm just going to share my screen with you now so that you can see what I'm doing on my Zentangles presentation. So today we're going to be having a look at Zentangles. What are Zentangles? How can you create them? And why might you use this technique? This is primarily to relax and to enjoy art, but also it links in with many of the keywords that you might be looking at in your art curriculum in school. The keywords that we're going to have a look at today are shape, pattern, symmetry, and mindfulness. So what is a Zentangle? I'll just see if I can move myself out of this space for a second so that you can see this screen. This is Zentangle history. Zentangles were created in America by Rick Roberts and Maria Thomas. They wanted to create an artwork that relaxed the mind while creating. These are some examples that I've done on the right-hand side. Each Zentangle is made by combining different patterns within a set shape. So the ones that I've done on the right are within this sort of wiggly square shape. It doesn't really matter what sort of shape you do. The different shapes can be like this on the left. You could traditionally make them from a small piece of square paper called a tile, and sometimes these tiles can be put together to make a larger pattern. However, lots of people now create Zentangles in different shapes, like the circle one on the bottom left. You could be doing it within a certain outline, like an animal shape or a star shape, anything you can think of. Remember, it's your artwork, there is no right or wrong. Before you embark on trying a Zentangle, try and fill your paper with different patterns. Remember that a pattern is just a repetition of different shapes. You could focus on the shapes that you know already, maybe just a square or a circle or a triangle. You could always start in pencil and then go over your lines in pen. And you can use a rubber to help you, though that isn't traditionally how people would do Zentangles. Try to relax and don't worry about this being a good or a bad drawing. In Zentangle, there is no good or bad. It's all about relaxing and enjoying the process. Think of symmetry like a mirror image. So that's the same shapes or patterns seen again and again. In this example on the left, all I've done is split my square into 4 different sections, and then I've split each of those sections into 4 again, and then just used a ruler to do straight lines within those different squares. When you do them like this, they will all match up because I'm doing mirror images. So they all end up looking like diamond shapes within those squares. On the right-hand side, I've chosen a more floral image and tried to just create nice flowing curved lines and dots. Remember, it is your Zentangle, so you can do whatever feels most natural to you. We're going to watch a little video now of how I created some of these Zentangles. I've got some different equipment that I use. I've got a pencil, I've got a broad felt tip pen, I've got a handwriting pen, and I've also got a sepia toned, which is like a brown tone of a line marker. You can use any of these different materials. I've also cut up some different squares of paper, just quite small. It doesn't matter if you don't have squares of paper, and it doesn't matter if you don't have different pens. You can use whatever materials that you have near you. So let's have a look at this video so I can show you how I created some of these Zentangle patterns. So you start by doing 4 dots in each corner, and then you split your square into different shapes. We're going to do a different pattern in each one of these shapes. It could be lines or circles like I'm doing here. It's up to you what you put in. By putting the dots in each one of those corners, you already have done some marks on the paper. For lots of people, just doing marks on the paper is quite daunting. So for every Zentangle, Just start off by doing these little 4 dots. It helps then to split your paper into the different sections and try and do a different pattern in each section. I'm going to speed the video up now so we can see what I've done with the different materials. This one is in pencil, and then if I go to this one, I've started off in pen. In this one, after I did my dots in the corners, I decided to do a bit more of a wiggly line. This one is using far more curves. I also really recommend feeling and listening to the paper and listening to your pen marks as it goes over the paper. Don't try and think about what you're going to do. Just start off by making different patterns and marks. Remember, Zentangling is about relaxing your brain. It's about giving you time just to focus on different patterns and not to worry about what it's going to look like at the end. Because we're doing these on small pieces of paper, it doesn't matter really if you don't like the final outcome, because you can just do another one and another one and another one and another one. Just keep going. On this last one, I've decided to do a circular shape. Now, you might not be able to do a perfect circle, but that doesn't matter. You could draw around a circular shape. And if you noticed, I actually made a little mistake down in this bottom corner, which is why I decided to change the whole of the round of the circle to be almost like a rope shape. I'm now thinking about doing dots and then waves. When I was doing this piece, it actually reminded me of being at the seaside. So maybe you could be thinking about times that you've enjoyed being around in nature. That also helps to relax your mind and maybe influences the patterns that you create. I'm just going to speed to the end now so you can see the finished outcome. Here I'm just adding a few more thicker lines just to emphasize certain parts of the Zentangle. So let's recap. Let's have a look at some of those key words that we talked about at the beginning. Remember, this is really useful for art to be able to vocalize and talk about what you've done. So we have 4 key words: shape, symmetry, pattern, and mindfulness. Let's see if you can remember any of the definitions for any of these key words. Maybe try and write some of them down, or write down what you think is the definition. I'll give you a few moments just to have a think. Let's have a look at some of these answers and definitions. So, a shape is made by drawing a line to form an outline. Symmetry means a mirror image, so shapes or lines are repeated once or more. And a pattern means to repeat those shapes or lines in a pleasing way. Remember that you can draw shapes. Even if you use a ruler, it's not cheating. What I would recommend is to draw out different shapes and patterns first before you attempt to Zentangle. And remember, this is all about mindfulness and relaxation. We want to relax your mind and give yourself time to be in the moment and not worrying about anything else. Thinking about those learning aims from the beginning of our lesson, hopefully now you understand what a Zentangle is. They are patterns within a shape. You could be thinking about different shapes to use, maybe an outline of an animal or the outline of a building. You could even try and draw your name with Zentangles within the letters. How can you create them? Well, you can use any form of lines or any materials. Traditionally, Zentangles would be done on a square piece of paper with a pen, but it's up to you. If that you find it quite stressful doing things in pen, just focus on using a pencil first of all. Build up your confidence and enjoy the process. Why might you use this technique? Well, it's a way to relax or to create more detailed patterns within an outline. Remember, this is all about creating your own artwork. There is no good or bad. Let's just recap the step by step so that you understand what to do. Start off with your materials. Remember, you can simply use a scrap of paper and a pencil. I would definitely recommend doing the 4 dots in each one of the corners, because that helps you just to start to make a mark on the page, which for some people can be the scariest moment. Then you join those dots up to make a sort of square. It can be straight lines with a ruler if you want, or wiggly lines. Then use another line to split up that square into different sections, and then try out different patterns in each section until you've finished your Zentangle. Remember, this is about relaxation. So please start Zentangling today and enjoy it. Thank you so much for attending this Satchel class.